Today, I'm very excited and really happy to welcome Frederieke Karin van der Lijn. She is past life regression therapist and has a very special connection with Toroa as Maori wisdom keeper. Hello, Frederieke.
Hi, Katrien. Nice to see you again. It has been a while, isn't it?
Yes, it was a
Yeah,
while, more than a year, I guess. And
I
yes,
think
I'm
so.
very happy to see you again. And Frederieke, you are a past life regression therapist and you are also working with animals. Would you like to explain a little bit more about your work? What are you doing?
Yeah, I would like that. It's nice to share a little bit about my work. As you said, I'm a past life regression therapist, so I work with people in their ancestral lineages, but also in their past lives, when they have problems in this life that makes them feel stuck, so that's what I do. And I work with animals. That's a bit more difficult to explain because it's not that I work with alive animals. Sometimes I do. I work with horses, but most of the time I work with the spirit of animals. So you can see
Yes.
my best friend. Also have her here. I already showed you.
Wow.
Freya. And she's the owl. So I work a lot in my work with owl energy. And recently I started working with deer. So this is what I
Mhm.
mostly have close to me when I have ceremonies or I do certain rituals or ceremonies with other people in groups. So I love to work with the energy of spirit animals because um, they don't judge, they're true, and they don't speak with our language, but they speak through the energy. And that's something I love. It's like I can receive that without being nervous or feel harmed or feel offended. I can observe what the energy of the animals are, and then I can reflect it to myself or help my clients to reflect it to themselves. And then I can find out what this spirit animal is trying to tell them.
Wow,
That's how I work with it. Yeah.
that sounds so fascinating.
It
And
is. I'm surprised every time. Yeah.
yes. And you're very interested in ancient wisdom, spiritual awareness, and also indigenous wisdom, then, because this sounds like you are connected with ancestors too. And also, you have this very special connection with Toroa as a Maori wisdom keeper. And you produced a series, the story of Puakai and Toroa, stories that were ready to be revealed. Please tell us more about this.
Yes, that was really exciting. I had to practice also to say this in the right way. It's Pawakai and Tohora. So Toroa had to teach me. What happened is when I met Toroa, it was actually for an interview of one of my online summits. We got along straight on. And we had this really nice talk. And then I just suddenly realized and told him, my mom once told me far back in her lineage, there was a Maori
Wow.
that's married into the lineage. And he was surprised, but not really. Until I showed him a picture of my mom. And then he said, like, whoa, yeah, I can see there's a connection with a Maori line.
Yeah.
When you look at me, you don't see it. But when you look at my nieces and nephews and my aunts, yeah, they definitely show. So then we're back to the 1600s. It's far,
Yeah.
Yeah, and then, well, we seem to get along pretty well. But as soon as I met him, I started to have dreams. And they were with the spirit animals, Pawakai, that was the eagle, and Tohora, that is the whale. I didn't know their names. I just had these dreams, and I called Toroa and asked him, I don't know, but since I met you, I have these dreams about a whale and about an eagle. I'm not sure. Maybe you can help me to explain what they try to tell us. And we had quite some coffees and conversations. And after a while, he said, it seems right to share this. So then we did this series, and we talked about HAKA and Tohora. And HAKA is distinct. It was the largest eagle that once flew this planet. And Tohora is the whale, is endangered. You know, so I think that's the connection between the two of them. And then he made me this really special carving.
Beautiful.
Maybe you can see it.
Yeah, you see the eagle and the whale.
Yeah, it's an eagle and a whale. And he made this for me. And when I got it, I didn't tell him what to make. But I had the idea they should be connected somehow. And to me, the eyes of HAKA were important because it took me on a flight, and it showed me how extraordinary the vision of an eagle is. And then I didn't ask him, I didn't tell him what I wanted. I just said, just make me something. And this came out. So
wow.
It's pretty strong because these are very, very strong power animals. And like the eagle has the overview. And it has been there all the time. So it knows exactly what has happened on this world. And Tohora, he's like the record keeper, like the ancient record keeper. Yes. So this is pretty strong.
Yes. And the eagle and the whale are also the symbol of his tribe, the Apanui, Whanau a Apanui. So this is really an incredible story. And beside this connection you have with the Maori, you are very strong anchored in your Frisian identity. What does that mean to you?
Well, I'm beginning to anchor stronger. First of all, I didn't realize that it was important to be connected to my ancient tribe. Speaking my Frisian language has been difficult for a long time because people judge, like when you speak Frisian, you speak like a farmer, or you speak something else, and they feel excluded. I'm just going to like the deepest level of the pain of not being able to, not being allowed to speak or to stand up. And somehow you can always go a layer deeper, and it has to be addressed again because of the shifts we're making. Because it's identifying, but I don't really think I can be identified. You neither. We can't be identified. We can connect to people that feel the same connections with the elements, with nature. And then we identify ourselves as Frisians or something like that.
Yes.
Being identified with the work I do, doesn't make sense to me.
I capture that perfectly, I guess, because we are so much more than only this physical part, what we see, and all this mental concept of who you are, and these tools of identify somebody. And it is very interesting that this is upcoming about the Frisian identity, because this anchoring in an identity, it is something what can nourish you. And I'm somebody who cannot find these roots where I'm coming from. I come from from two refugee families, and also with my red hair, I'm outstanding in my family even, and I understand that aspect, that it can be a reduction, but that is not what I mean. It is a starting point. and we need a starting point to come into this flesh, into this incarnation, and then do our journey. And our journey is to complete something. So, but for this journey, a starting point or anchor point is just needed, because we are in this dual world, even when we are creatures from the invisible world. Yeah.
Yes, and of course you are right, because we do identify with where we come from. Connect, but it's like you said, there's like, you have a different kind of identification. You can identify it. Oh, I'm from Friesland. I'm a Frisian, so I'm different than you. No, I'm not different. I'm come from a tribe which goes far, a long way back. And that tribe used to be really connected to earth, to the stars, to the elements. And that's in my DNA.
Yeah.
And that's exactly who I am. I connect with the stars, with earth, with the elements, like you do. And we have our ways of working with it and honoring it. And that makes me a Frisian. And my language has the vibration of my ancestors. So I feel connected, and so I can ground in it and anchor in it, like you said. But I'm just starting. I'm just starting with this process. That's why, well, that's why it would be really cool if Toroa could do the HAKA. I've invited him, and I started to plan it and organize it, because I want to feel that that connection with a tribe. You know, well, you've done some HAKAs. I haven't done them before. That's the background of Pauaka and Tora.
So, Frederieke, in July, there will be a FRYSKE HAKA workshop with Toroa, organized by you. What are the hopes, the expectations, or what is the background to do a FRYSKE HAKA?
Yes, well, I have to take you a little bit on a story.
Yeah, please.
Because it didn't come out of falling out of the air just by, you know, like, so of course, when I met Toroa and I learned, he told me that he was doing this HAKA workshop, I was really excited, because I thought that's very powerful. And but it just kept a bit aside. And then we had a very nice ceremonial day with the Alifuru. They come from Maluku. And this ceremony was in the Netherlands. And some other wisdom keepers from different cultures were coming to this ceremony. So they had this welcome singing, and it was like a dancing, and it was a bit like the HAKA. And I saw it and I heard it and I just started crying. And I've had this also when I hear the powwow, I start crying. When I hear the HAKA, I start crying. So I was like, wow, so these are these ancestral lineages that I feel, because I can sense there's so much ancient connection that's happy, you know, the ancestors are happy that they hear it again, that we hear it. And then I thought, I want to ask Toroa to do a HAKA in the Netherlands. And in the meantime, I was connecting more and more to my Frisian background. And I've been asked to join some circles from my Linnean background, from my Frisian background. So I thought, maybe it's about time to do this. And I should do it in Friesland. And I thought I should do this in the Frisian language, because then, you know, then we can reconnect with this inner power that we have, not from battling or from war or from anger or something like that, but just to have this this feeling of this inner strength and contain it. You know, you have to feel, you have to reconnect and feel, how can I contain this strength and own it and embody it in a pure way, like it's meant to be. It's not pretty easy to do this and to organize this, because as soon as you set this intention, and I talked with Toro about it, a lot of stuff started to happen. we are going to do something which is pretty scary, actually, because we're going to use the language that not everybody really likes. I'm actually proud speaking my language because now I can feel this long, long lineage with an ancient tribe, the FRYSKE. But before I was aware of it like this, like the first 45 years of my life, I was ashamed that people could hear I'm from Friesland. I've been judged. I've been not taken seriously. I've been laughed at. And this is changing. And I think it's important it's changing. And
Yes.
I started to think I want to do a Frisian HAKA. And we're going to do this with all Frisian people, you know? I'm going to do it in our language. And I was like, yeah, this is going to be tough and strong. But then I would exclude other people. Then I would do with other people what I have felt. So I would actually want to organize it with the doors open. Everybody can join in. And we're going to do Dutch and we're going to do Frisian. And I organized it on the border of the 3 provinces of Friesland, Groningen, and Drenthe. The 3 northern provinces. And when you go far back, then you will find that the Frisian people lived all along this North Sea coast. So from Norway to Denmark, the north of Germany, Ostfriesland, you know this, of course.
Yeah.
And then along the sea coast, all the way down to Belgium and even into the north of France. And I think a lot of Dutch people, when they go far back, they will discover they have Frisian ancestors.
Yes.
And how cool would it be just to reconnect again with that? Because a lot of Dutch people, they just adopt a different culture. A lot of a Native American culture, which I think is beautiful because it helped me to open up also, to get this first connection with the animals again, and to understand how to reconnect with the elements. So I'm really, really grateful for that. But I think the call is to go back to your own ancestral lineage, to your own tribe. And then when you go back far enough, then you end up with this unity that we all are, with all these same connections with the stars and with the earth and with fire, water, air, you know, all these things. We all have this in the same way. It's universal.
Yes.
So that's why I want to do the HAKA in the Friesland. Long
So,
story. Yeah.
no, it sounds beautiful. For me, it sounds great. And missing my own homeland, if you like. So I use, for example, the HAKA done or proposed by Toroa to reconnect with something bigger than me. What let me refine this union with other people. And Toroa also say the same like you, that when we go far enough backwards, we were all the same. For me, this is healing. You know, I love when people have found their identity and then when they fill it out, but not as a limitation or exclusion, but with a real strengthening anchoring. Yeah.
Yeah, and I had to come to that idea because I was so excited. I was like, okay, the Frisian people, they have been pushed down so much. We have to help them just to feel powerful again, you know, because we're actually still free people. It's in writing. The born and the unborn Frisians are free people.
Nice.
But we don't live it, you know, we don't even know it, we don't stand for it. Now I wanna hear the strength in the words, and it's so strongly connected as soon as you speak your language that I'm not part of it. It should be open, and we should, like you and I speak Frisian, then I speak Dutch, and now we speak English. you speak German and French, and we have to do this conversation in English.
Yes.
But we don't speak our own language. And so if I would speak in Frisian, it would be easier for me. Als ik Fries praat en zo, dan kom ik in contact met waar ik ben. En dan wordt het een stuk makkelijker voor mij. En dan is het echt niet meer spannend. En dan is het echt niet meer gevaarlijk. So if I would speak my Frisian, I would feel so much more me. And then it would be less exciting. And it would not be dangerous anymore.
For me, that sounds pretty. And I'm living in France, so permanently I need to speak in a foreign language. When I speak in French, I definitely lost parts of my own identity. I cannot show and I cannot express in French because French is not my mother tongue. I learned it quite well, but what I am, who I am, it is left out somehow when I'm speaking French. It can really be frustrating because the people cannot read me.
I totally understand because I, of course, have to speak Dutch all the time.
Yeah.
But lately, and it's very interesting too, that I get more and more clients from Friesland. So in my work as a past life regression therapist, I work with people in their ancestral lineages and also in their past lives, also in the previous, in this current life, but also in their past lives. And sometimes I have clients that do have ancestors coming from Friesland, but they were brought up somewhere else in the Netherlands, so they don't speak Frisian. And when we go into these ancestral lineages, then sometimes I start to talk Frisian in connection with their grandparents or great-grandparents, or depends how far we go back. And then suddenly it starts to flow. And sometimes my clients starts to speak for them in Frisian also.
Yeah, you see.
So language can be so important to go to the deepest feelings and emotions, and just to open up what's there hidden inside, you know, what's just pushed down and that hasn't been known for a long time. It can be good just to dive back in the lineage and see what kind of cultures are here and what kind of languages are here, what were the way they did their rituals, and how does it feel when I reconnect with that? Because maybe you still have a strong connection to it. And it helps you to, well, actually be more on earth, I would say.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, more in peace with yourself. Or like Thoreau often says, I know who I am, know you who you are. And for me, definitely, this is quite tough.
And he said, but you also know who you are. And I was like, yeah, I know it. When I can really, really connect, okay, I'm going to say it, with the star being that we are.
Yeah.
And then you can actually connect to every culture, every language, you know, because it goes back to the core, where you come from. On the other hand, by knowing that, it's easier for me also to connect with my Frisian ancient tribe, different than from the place that I grew up with as a modern Frisian, but it is in my DNA. So knowing where I really originally come from, which is from the universe as a divine being, you could say, or a light being.
Yes.
As soon as I can sense that, then I can connect and identify myself as a Frisian, because Frisians were very connected to the stars. And I think all ancient cultures, all ancient tribes were really connected to the stars. And they understood how to live on Earth through reading the stars. I'm still reconnecting with being Frisian. As soon as I speak Frisian, something starts to happen inside.
Yes.
And if we could do a HAKA, and I'm organizing it, and I hope we will have like a big group of people, Dutch people, Frisian people, even German people, I don't mind. Everybody is welcome. And we are going to experience the vibration of the language. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yes.
I think it will be empowering and maybe overwhelming too. It will open up a new process again. Yeah.
Yes. I'm really excited about it. I love the idea, and I'm excited to see the outcome or to hear from the outcome. I'm sure it brings something new into this world, a new heart consciousness. Thank you so much. I'm really touched. And yes, it's all about connection and reconnection, and just find ways to rebuild our ancient connection with ourselves, with our roots, our origins, and Mother Earth. And then, of course, back to the stars. But first, we have a lot to do here on Earth. And so it all sounds so beautiful to me. It sounds like a beautiful, really meaningful work you are doing. And I'm definitely looking forward to see you in real life again.
Yes, let's hope we will meet up pretty soon again, and maybe in Friesland. We'll see. We'll see what we can organize. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Thank you very, very much, Frederieke.
Thank you, Katrien.